This is not only one of the absolute fastest builds in the game right now, but it's also fun as fuck, it's giga tanky, and it randomly turns you into a teleporting god of death. You are simply hitting enemies with your palm, and then you are flickering across 20 screens, bonking everything into absolute oblivion. A massive shout out to my boy FG Corbin for putting this masterpiece together. I'm just here to spread the gospel of the bonk. In this one, we are going to cover all the insane new tech he found to make the martial artist monk top tier, completely ditching the clunky old mechanics. Let's get right into it. So sit down and pay attention. First things first, how the hell does this build work, and why did it get so much better? Well, earlier in the league, we used Whirling Assault to build up your combo, which had a painfully long animation, and you desperately needed Power Charge on crit gloves just to sustain your charges. Now, that shit is dead. The brilliant new Power Charge tech now revolves around Martial Master, Culmination, and Aelith's Chimes, because the Martial Master Ascendancy makes all attack hits build combo. This includes skills like Living Lightning. So, socketing this into Shattering Palm, all we need to do is to slam the Shattering Palm button once or twice whenever we enter a map. This creates Ice Fragments and Living Lightning. When those hit enemies, they instantly skyrocket our combo gain. We then consume that combo thanks to Culmination, and thanks to Aelith's Chimes, we get a massive chance to grant us power charges. This is all we need to sustain power charges. So no more expensive power charge on crit gloves needed. You literally just click Shattering Palm a couple times and you get a truckload of charges on demand. Alright, before we get into the details, let me explain a few more important additions to the build, because this is where the build goes from great to broken. Firstly, we are now using the new unique body armor, Forgotten Warden Primal Markings. This comes from the Bodok Ritual final boss. Uniques usually lack defense, but this completely breaks the rule. It gives you a humongous amount of evasion and energy shield. It actually gives you deflection rating based on your missing energy shield. So if you get hit, your deflect chance skyrockets to mitigate 40% of the damage taken. But here is the absolute best part. It grants a skill called Spirit Vessel. This summons a spirit companion that sits in your pocket and eats up to 15% of damage from the hits you deflect. Knowing this, we pair it with Ramira's Requital, which takes another 10% of damage you take and forces the companion to eat it instead. You are getting damage reduction, insane evasion, and deflection for literally pennies compared to expensive rare chests. Next, let's talk about the Explode tech. You gooners are going to like this. By messing around with the Stone Fist glove modifiers, if you get Magnitude of Poison or Magnitude of Bleed on your gloves, they convert into chance to explode corpses. You get these from the Decay modifier pool using a Catless Gloom rune. The Bleed Explode has a higher chance to occur, but deals slightly less damage. The Chaos Explode from Poison has a lower chance, but hits harder. Either one is fucking insane for clear speed. And as they scale with enemy max life, the harder the content you run, the more value you get from them. And when paired with Herald of Ice, you will wipe 20 screens worth of enemies in a second. Then we have the Chronomancy Boots. You use the Utrid Citrus rune to craft these to get a modifier granting a chance to not remove charges, but count as consuming them. When you stack this 15% with the passive tree and your gems, you essentially have a 50% chance to just casually not spend a charge when you use Flicker Strike or Falling Thunder. And finally, if you decide to go full juicer and get a Mage Blood, the build feels amazing, but it is not mandatory. You can farm juicy rituals for it, but if you don't have it, just stick to a solid chevrons, play the game smart, and don't stand in stupid shit, and you won't die. Alright friends, next let's head into the gem section and see what's going on over there. Let's start with the skill granted by our body armor, Spirit Vessel. On Spirit Vessel, we're running Ramira's Requital to make the minion take 10% of damage for me. We run Aminamu's Tithe because if the minion does die, we have a 50% chance to get an Abyssal Monster modifier, which is just a cheeky little bonus. Then Meat Shield 2, reducing the damage the minion takes by 40%, so he actually stays alive to protect us. Hulking minions makes him fat with extra life, and finally, Catha's Brilliance. This blinds anything in his radius, and it ignites them. So if you've got damage bonuses against ignited enemies, the companion triggers it for you automatically. Lovely. For our main boss, Nuka and Mappa, Falling Thunder. You absolutely must run Nova Projectiles 1 here. Do not run Projectiles 2, it lessens your damage and adds a garbage cooldown to the skill. Then we add Breachlord's Amalgam and Culmination 2 to build Combo, which grants energy shield recharge when expended via our Ascendancy. Blindside for more crit chance and big critical damage. Now listen carefully to this part. If your crit chance is somehow lower than 60%, do not use Blindside. Get your head out of your ass and run Pinpoint Critical instead. And we round this link off with Rakiata's Flow. If you can't afford this one, then just go with Elemental Armament. When clearing maps, you can swap your Breachlord's Amalgam for Ricochet, so you can spam Falling Thunder to your heart's content, and for Pinnacle bosses, swap it for Amalgam again, which literally doubles your single target damage, but it introduces a miserable 6-second cooldown. Only use Amalgam for big bosses. Next is Shattering Palm, our main power charge generator. Drop in Culmination 2 first to let us build up Combo. Then Aelith's Chimes, so Combo grants power charges. Charge Profusion 2 gives a chance for an additional random charge. Living Lightning is crucial here because the little sparks it creates also build Combo when they hit, keeping us at max Combo effortlessly. And finally, Rage 3 for that sweet multiplicative damage boost. Next up, Charge Staff. This buffs our damage based on our charges, giving us 1 to 20 lightning damage per charge, plus wild shockwave damage. We link Prolonged Duration 2, Culling Strike 2 to execute enemies, Thrill of the Kill 2, Blind 2, and Blazing Critical for added fire damage on crit. Then we have Flicker Strike, the ultimate fun button. We run Blindside for extra damage, Close Combat 2 for even more damage, Perpetual Charge so we can hold it down longer, hit and run to make it smoother, and lastly Concentrated Area for even more damage. Then we have Mantra of Destruction. We press this right before hitting a boss to get the purple chihuahua whatever the fuck bonus. It grants truckloads of extra chaos damage. Link it with Delayed Gratification, which forces a larger combo build-up before use, but allows it to be used twice. Prolonged Duration 2 for skill effect uptime, mobility to reduce the movement speed penalty so you can actually walk, and Chaos Mastery for the +1. For your big explosions, we use Herald of Ice. Here you have 2 options. For the expensive variant with Herald Chaining, hook this up with Ulnetol's Embrace, Uruk's Smelting, Armor Explosion, Chaos Attunement, and Magnified Area 2. This will allow your Herald to break armor, triggering Armor Explosion, which in turn can trigger Herald of Ice. But UL's Embrace is expensive as fuck right now, so if you don't have it, then just go for this gem selection instead. For defenses, Wind Dancer gives 30% more evasion rating at max stacks. We link it to Magnified Area 2, Blind, and Maim. This way, whenever Gale Force goes off, it blinds and maims everything around you to keep you safe. Throw in Freeze and Elemental Armament 2, so this aura can freeze enemies and trigger your Herald explosions automatically. And our final gem link is Charge Regulation. Because we have Charge Profusion granting us random charges, this gem gives us insane value. We get crit when we have power charges, armor, and energy shield from endurance charges, and skill speed from frenzy charges. All right, moving on. Let's cover the actual gear pieces you need to wear to bring this whole monstrous setup online. For the weapon, you want a quarterstaff, obviously. Right now, you should aim for a Breath of Alder, as this guarantees you chunk enough cold damage to freeze everything. Other than that, just go for as much flat as possible. As for your suffixes, you want plus level of melee, critical hit chance, and either critical damage bonus or attack speed. The body armor, as we covered, is the Forgotten Warden primal markings. For your socket here, put in a perfect iron rune or an idol of Irma to get that extra 10% chance to not consume charges on Flicker Strike. For the gloves, get any base type since the Stone Fist Ascendancy converts it anyway. You are looking for those explode modifiers we talked about earlier, decay pool magnitude of poison or bleed. For prefixes, you also want gain extra lightning or a big % defense roll. For the suffixes, plus level of melee, crit chance, and attack speed. For your helmet, you really want a pure evasion base or hybrid evasion and energy shield. Grab crit chance, resistances, attributes, and deflection rating here, or just about any useful stats you can find. For the boots, these are the Chronomancy boots from the Utrid Citrus rune. Look for high movement speed, evasion, deflection, resistances, attributes, and ideally increased movement speed while sprinting. For the rings, you just want flat cold, lightning, fire, or physical damage. Get whatever attributes you lack, and rarity is nice too. But also, here's an important part, so listen up. You have to have a leech mod on your rings if you don't have mana on kill and some mana cost efficiency, because else you'll just end up punching the air. So if you don't have this, then you can go with a mana leech roll and just slap on the Oisin's Oath into your charged staff, and you should stay topped off on mana. For the amulet, a gold amulet for rarity is fantastic. Plus 3 level of melee is best in slot here, paired with huge defensive numbers. For the anoint, get Thaumaturgic Generator to passively spawn random charges every few seconds. If you are poor, go for Critical Exploit, Serrated Edges, Vulgar Methods, or a defensive option like Bestial Skin. If you are rocking the Mage Blood belt, you want a Legacy of Quicksilver for movement speed, Diamond for crit chance, Jade for evasion, and a Topaz or Silver Flask for that sweet skill speed. If you are a normal human being without a Mage Blood, run a nice chevrons and ensure your life flask have instant recovery. In that case, you can just spam it for energy shield if you get hit and instantly recover. For your charms, run whatever the fuck you want. The endgame goal here is a rite of passage charm, rocking a fox, cat, or owl. And finally, your extra runes. We're rocking runic meridians here, so we use resistance runes to stay capped. But the most important is a rune of warding, which is incredibly important because it pairs with the Hollowkeeper node to make you near immune to curses. Yes, you're not completely immune, but they have pretty much no effect, so say goodbye to temporal chains. Then a rune of culmination for additional combo gain and increased movement speed or whatever else you need. Excellent work, donkeys, gear complete. Now let's jump into the passives and Ascendancy tree. For the Ascendancy, we take Way of the Stone Fist to completely transform those explode gloves. Martial Adept for extra combo gain and Energy Shield recharge delay. Martial Master, which literally enables this entire Shattering Palm combo build. And lastly, Runic Meridians for all those lovely tattoo slots. And again, since we're constantly expending combo with our Falling Thunder, we're resetting the Energy Shield recharge delay, allowing us to keep recharging while fighting. Over on the passive tree, we want to be by grabbing all of these yummy defensive nodes, some damage, and start stacking power charges. Because the more power charges, the easier it will be to keep flickering, along with generating a lot of extra damage for Falling Thunder. We're also stacking crit here with even more power charges. For jewels, we're using Thaumaturgic Generator here on a Megalomaniac, but this costs at least 100 divines, so if you can't afford it, then you just make sure to anoint it. And if you can't afford that either, then go farm some maps, broke boy. On the main route, we have Chaos Inoculation. We grab our stun threshold and cold nodes up top. Important though, if you have Rakiatas, then you ditch Heavy Frost here, or else you're just making it useless. Probably the most important part of the entire passive tree, honestly. We're also using a Heart of the Well here with mana on kill, which keeps our mana up if we're not using a bunch of mana leech. Next, head on downwards, grab all of these damage and defensive nodes, where we find the Hollow Keeper, removing curse effects on us. But the real star of the showdown here is your time-lost jewel. You want to craft one of these bad boys, so it gets the mod that upgrades its radius to large. This lets you capture 3 additional notables. You are then looking for increased critical damage bonus per notable base critical hit chance and global defenses or energy shield. Getting a 5 modifier jewel here completely breaks the game, multiplying your offense and defense to absolutely absurd levels. Alright folks, we finally made it. The build is assembled. How in the hell are you supposed to play it? Fortunate for you, it is brain dead easy. When you zone into a map, hit your Shattering Palm twice on an enemy pack. As soon as you hit them, your UI will violently light up with max power charges. You press your charge staff to lock in your buff, and then hit Shattering Palm once more to top off. At this point, you hold down your Flicker Strike button and watch the screen teleport and explode. If things get hairy or you hit a tough rare mob, drop a Falling Thunder with Ricochet on them. Your mana on kill will keep you full, your energy shield will constantly recharge from your evasion pool, and you will just zoom. For pinnacle bosses, do the exact same pre-buff. Hit them with Shattering Palm to get your charges, but before you attack, drop your Mantra of Destruction for that massive purple flame chaos damage, ensure your Amalgam support is linked in your Falling Thunder, and then just bonk them. They will flat out disappear. And that is it for this one. Use this setup, blast through the endgame, and enjoy deleting the hardest content in the game with a stick. Drop a sub, check out my man FG Corbin down in the description, and I'll see you in the next one.